I got this passion, and it's burning deep inside of me. And this time, no, not gonna settle for anything less. Craving a life that I've never known.
Well, good morning. We finally made it to Nashville. We have parked up in our space here at Two Rivers Campground, which is just a little bit north of what used to be Opryland, Gaylord Hotel, and where the Grand Ole Opry now meets. So looking forward to it. Thought I'd give you a little insight into our camp. We parked the car in front, missed this tree when we had to back in, and we settled in our space. And we're looking forward to a great day today. We're going to try to take you by, show you, I don't know if Cokesbury Publishing still exists, and where the Baptist Sunday School Board used to be. Now it's called Lifeway, and they've sold all that property and they've moved a little bit further out of downtown, not very far, just a little bit further on the northwestern side of downtown. And we may get into showing you a little bit of Nashville and a little bit of the Ryman Auditorium, and hopefully maybe even make a whole segment on the Ryman if we can get all that together. So we're looking forward to a great day. Yeah, we got in after hours last night, which means the office closes at 5 here at Two Rivers Campground, and we're getting ready to go and officially get checked in, even though we already spent the night. But it's okay, I paid a one-night deposit to keep my space. I thought I'd show you the office. There we are. That's where I'm headed, and then we'll be off to the races. Okay. I wanted to show you a picture of the Grand Ole Opry, and we're hunting for a parking spot. Here's one. We found one. And we found it.
Do a tour?
Okay.
Or just do it outside?
This is where the Grand Ole Opry has moved to since it left Ryman Auditorium. And next door is Gaylord Hotel. And back behind us, which you can hear the music from, is one of the local malls. So, busy place. Busy place. You can see the Opry shop, and this is an outdoor stage where they have various events. Grand Ole Opry guitar, and another one. Yep, that's the home of the Grand Ole Opry. Well, as you travel in through Nashville, you'll find that traffic is horrendous, and this is one of the worst. It's an intersection that kind of spins around downtown.
And this is a Saturday.
Yeah, midday, not even rush hour. So we're now doing 31, 32 miles an hour. Great image of downtown. two spires coming off on the, what would be about the middle of the picture right now.
I painted that a few years ago. I'll have to show that.
Oh, cool.
Here's the stadium. See that stadium? This is where the Titans play?
Titans play football right there, Nissan Stadium.
Here's another view of the stadium and a little bit of the Nashville skyline over there. So the Batman building has those two spires on it. It's really the AT&T building, but it looks like something out of Gotham City. So people have nicknamed it the Batman building. Nashville has a beautiful skyline. There's the old bridge.
I think that's now just pedestrian traffic.
What river is this? The Tennessee?
Is this the Tennessee River? I'm not sure what river this is. It's not.
Okay. Here's a party trailer you can see in the distance. Can we acknowledge that? To get closer.
Probably.
Okay. You see all the girls with their pink cowboy hats? And it's a pedal tavern. Okay, so one thing you don't expect to see in downtown Nashville is a tractor, but again, it's pulling a party trailer.
Just keep it rolling.
Lots of foot traffic. And we are on Broadway.
On Broadway.
On Broadway.
The reason why we bring you this way is because
This is the old train station.
the post office was here on this side. It still is, I assume. And off to the left, in just about a block or so, was what was called the Baptist Sunday School Board, and then it became Lifeway, and they had several blocks of downtown. And they published so many materials for churches to use that they had a train station or a train railway underneath the streets all the way from the Baptist Sunday School Board over here to the post office, and they ran hundreds and hundreds of pieces of material through there every day. And they've sold out and they've changed everything, but kind of amazing down through here. Nowadays it's a little different picture.
There's a beautiful old church over here. What is that?
This might be your image when someone says, have you ever been to Nashville? Many people picture this as Nashville, which is the all the honky tonks and little dive bars and Grumman guitar.
Bridgestone Arena, where they have all the concerts.
Yeah, all this section coming up right in the next block to two. This is what they consider Nashville. You know, the people up on eating on the top decks of both these buildings.
Ribs, barbecue, and honky tonk. That's the thing.
That seems to be what.
And there's First Baptist Church of Blytheville, Arkansas.
Is it really?
Look at that.
It is. What do you know? I wonder who that is.
I wonder what they're doing. is Tubbs Record Shop.
Look at all the people over here.
Look at just scads of people
Swarming
on the
like,
sidewalks.
it's just looking like a trail of ants.
Whiskey Row.
And another party bus right next to us.
Yep. Music City Showcase. Oh, I hear live music.
Hey, Jason out there.
Jason Alvin.
He's selling
Kitchen and rooftop
John Deere
bar.
tractors in there.
Yeah, you got any John Deere tractors? Johnny Cash Museum.
Here's another.
Here's a party trailer coming.
pedal.
Another pedal trailer crossing the street in front of us. That's too much work. There they This is what you call a crowd so thick you can't stir it with a stick.
Big stick.
Oh look, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 level bar. Okay, we are coming up on Lifeway Publishing in its current location.
Is it right here?
Right here.
Your destination is on the right.
They used to have a bookstore in here. There where it says number 30, that door. And I don't know if they do because they closed down all their bookstores, so I'm just assuming they closed this one as well.
So now it's publishing only in order by mail?
Mail, you order by mail and or by online. Pull over here. Lifeway Credit Union.
Never heard of that. So talk about Lifeway.
Well, Lifeway, under Dr. Jimmy Draper that's what the Sunday School Board became. And they were wanting to reach out beyond just Southern Baptists because a lot of people were buying materials from them that weren't SBC, so they thought keeping the name Southern Baptist Sunday School Board they thought limited to them. And maybe it's just the way that all publishing has gone these days with the advent of online shopping and online purchasing and all that kind of stuff, that it was destined that bookstores were going to decline. And so they went the way Cokesbury had done the same thing. They sold all their bookstores. Lifeway sold off all their bookstores, and now it's just become a publishing house and people order online. Well, we had a great time in Nashville. It was a very short visit, but we have lived in Nashville before, so we really are in the Nashville area and really enjoyed it. We actually lived out in Nolensville, which is one of the suburbs. But we had a great time, kind of knew what we wanted to do and where we needed to go and see what we needed to see. But a couple of things we did were kind of unique. We went out to eat a couple of places, to Paula Dean's, which is on the other side of Opry Mills Mall from Briley Parkway. The Grand Ole Opry sits on the edge of Briley Parkway, and then there's Opry Mills Mall, and then across on the other side is Paula Dean's place. And really good food, kind of a long wait and a really weird or strange process to get you seated, but it was really worth the time, and a really good place to eat. And one of our favorite places to eat that was always, since we lived there, we always go back, is it called the Athens. It's now over on the Belmont Boulevard, and it was really, really enjoyable to be back and eat all those things. When you look at Nashville, there were people everywhere, just everywhere. We went through some of the neighborhoods, driving back and forth and trying to skirt some of the heavy traffic. People walking out everywhere. I mean, just loads and loads of people. So I got to thinking, when you think of the word Nashville, you think of the city of Nashville, or maybe you've never visited or you've just heard things. When Nashville, Tennessee comes to mind, what is it that you think about? What are the kinds of things that instantly come into your mind? Well, some people think of country music, obviously. It's the home of country music, so to speak, and the Country Music Hall of Fame is there in Nashville. Some people think of the Grand Ole Opry, and it's obviously there. Some people think of music publishing or the music business over on Music Square with all the things like BMI and ASCAP and all those people like that. Some people think of NFL football, and we've showed you a picture of the NFL Tennessee Titans football stadium, the Nissan Stadium. Some might even think of SEC football with Vanderbilt being there and teams that come in and visit. Maybe you think about politics, because Nashville is the capital for the state of Tennessee. Maybe you think of first-class educational places like Vanderbilt or Belmont universities, and there's some others around universities that are also there in and around the Nashville area. Maybe you think about the cultural displays they have all around downtown area, and maybe the Frist Museum where they have traveling shows that come in and out, world class. Or maybe you think of the Parthenon, which is made as a replica of the real Parthenon over in Greece. Maybe think about wonderful restaurants, just like I was telling you about some that we ate at. Maybe great shopping. Maybe if you're into that kind of thing, you think about the growth of the city, how it's emerging as one of the hot spots of growth in the United States these days. Or possibly you think of those downtown bars and dives as the heart of Nashville, like some people do, obviously, because a lot of people went there. At one time, back in the day, you probably would have thought about the many influential Sunday school and Christian publishing houses like Cokesbury, or what used to be the Baptist Sunday School Board, now called Lifeway, and there are several others who did and still do operate out of Nashville. And maybe you could think about the powerful churches that are scattered throughout the whole area that for years have done a great work. But just in our very short time in Nashville, especially as we visited downtown on Broadway, it's easy to see how far the vibrant city has drifted away from its spiritual roots. It's kind of a microcosm of our country, if you will, because we've been lured into a spiritual complacency, and we're being tempted to focus on simply having fun these days. Or making money, or building careers, or anything but spiritually dynamic things. The most damaging change, I think, is we've stopped seeing people in terms of whether or not they know the Lord or don't know the Lord, whether they're saved, whether they're lost. We've divided up our country because of various influences of whether or not we're legal or illegal immigrants, or whether we're Democratic or Republican, or whether we are vaccinated or not vaccinated, or maybe even a number of other such kind of opposite things that you could divide your idea, you could divide your country into, and you divide people into all the time. Because we're bombarded with these things all the time. So we have a calling to reach every single person on this planet for the gospel of Jesus Christ with the good news that God sent his Son to be the propitiation for their sins, and not just for our sins, not just for the few people's sins, but for everybody's. And they have a right to hear what God has done for them and what God would like to do for them. And we are charged with sharing that good news with them. But oddly enough, we won't even attempt to do that if we don't see people as separated from God and needing to be saved. In Mark chapter 6, verse 34, the Bible says this: when Jesus went ashore, he saw a large crowd, and he felt compassion for them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things. And I think that's an absolutely remarkable statement, that Jesus saw the need of people first on, especially if you get a big crowd. He saw the need of each individual. He saw the need of each person and began to sense that they needed help. And of course, the Bible tells us that Jesus knew what was in the heart of every man, so he knew exactly what they needed. Do we feel compassion for people when we see a crowd of folks like those that were gathering and going through Broadway? I told somebody the other day it was like watching a bunch of ants crawling on a sugar hill. I mean, it was just people everywhere. John chapter 4, verse 35, Jesus said this, listen to this: do not say, there are yet 4 months, and then comes the harvest. Behold, I say to you, lift up your eyes and look on the fields, for they are white for harvest. Those folks, those fields back then weren't large row crop farming fields growing crops that he was talking about. Those were people he was talking about. And he told us to lift up our eyes. We get a tendency to just look at what we've always looked at, don't see anything different when we drive back and forth to work or back and forth to our shopping areas like grocery stores and so forth. Unless something major has changed, maybe a new road going in or a new shopping center going, we don't tend to notice much different things. We don't look for the different things. We especially don't look for people very much. We're caught in our ruts and we're doing our own thing. But Jesus said we are to lift up our eyes and look around and see the harvest that's all around us. In Luke chapter 14, verse 23, Jesus was telling the story of what God expects, what he's looking for, what he's trying to accomplish, what he wants us to do as his kids, and how he wants to do things for others that are not yet his kids. And he told it in the form of a parable. And at the end of that parable, Jesus said this: and the master said to the slave, go out into the highways and along the hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. That's our job. We're the slaves. We're the servants. We're the ones that are serving God. We're to go out and compel people to come in to the kingdom, compel them to come to church, compel them to come into the family of God. And I couldn't help but wonder why we don't see people flocking to church like we see them flocking down to the dives and the bars in Nashville on Broadway. I couldn't help but wonder, what are we not doing? What is it that people are longing for? Because people are longing for things. They're longing for a sense of purpose. They're longing for a sense of belonging. They're longing even for forgiveness. They're longing for relationships that really matter. And they're substituting all that with the drinking and the carousing and the hooping and the hollering and trying to have a lot of fun, which is fine. I don't have any problem with having fun. Let's just keep it clean. Let's keep it kind of a sense of holy fun, if you will. But nonetheless, there's a longing in every human heart that says, I'm needing something. And he says we're to be involved in the harvesting process. Lift up your eyes, Jesus said, and look at the harvest and get involved in it. And we see in where one of us is supposed to be tilling and preparing the soil, one is supposed to be planting the seed, one is supposed to be watering or feeding that seed, nourishing that seed to fruition. But the Bible goes on to tell us God is the one that makes the harvest come about. He's the one that brings the increase, so to speak. You can check that out in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 5 through 7. But take a look around your community. Before you go in much further, just take a look at your community. Do you see people needing God? Or do you just see folks that you ignore? And ask yourself how you are supposed to be involved in the harvesting process. What is it God wants you to do to help bring people to faith in Christ and to find life in Him and to find faith? So you may want to look around and find out what you can do. I hope you're involved in a local church somewhere. I hope you're involved in a church that loves Jesus and faithfully teaches the Bible so you can learn and grow. If not, find you one. There's some great churches of all different types around. Just find one that loves Jesus and teaches faithfully the Bible. And if you don't find one of those, I'll help you. Just if you've got questions, give me some comments down below. And I'll be glad to respond, and I'll respond as quickly as I possibly can. I want you to know that. But also, if you want to help me make these videos, a couple of things you can do is hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. It doesn't cost anything to do those two things. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel. That gives us a little more clout on YouTube and pushes our things out there a little bit further. And if you want to be involved in financially helping us make videos, because these things are expensive to travel around and do these kind of things, you can go to our Patreon page, and I've got that up there now for you somewhere, one side of me or the other, wherever it is. And you can go to the Patreon page and become one of our financial supporters. But I just want you to be involved in reaching people. And if you haven't yet been reached, I want to tell you how you do that. 3 things you got to do. Number 1, you got to put your trust in Jesus. You realize you need Him, that you're apart from God. Put your trust in Jesus. Number 2, ask Him to forgive your sin. And number 3, surrender your life over to Him so He can fill you and make you the person you were designed to be. Listen, I trust that God will bless you. I'm looking forward to hearing from some of you what God is doing in your life. And again, if you need help, just give me a comment down below, and I'll be glad to respond. God bless you and have a great week.